Joining us now from Fox Sports is our friend Mark Schlereth back here in the program. Good to see you, Mark. How are you, sir?
Hey,
I'm doing great, man. How are you? Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Right
Mark.
at you. Have you ever been in a situation where somebody hit you in your spot, the forbidden speed bag, as Jauan had his Jennings hit last night? Mark, has that ever happened to you in a game?
The old proverbial got hit in the coin purse. No, I've been okay with that. Every now and again, you'll get an accidental grundle shot, but no, I have not.
Okay.
I have not hit anybody there, and I have not been hit there.
I don't know what's going on in this league, man. And then it's take shots after the game, which by the way is going to happen if you're trying to maintain composure during the game. And I'm sure the NFL doesn't want these handshake moments to be overtaken by open hand slapping, but we've seen that now 3 times this year, or twice this year, and obviously we saw what happened last week with the Steelers and the Bengals a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, is there any correlation between not allowing the NFL to have some frontier justice anymore and to take matters into your own hands between the whistle, like it used to be a day when you got a cheap shot or you had something you didn't like happen, then you just kind of tally that, you had a tally in your head and you said, okay, that's great if that's the way we're going to do this. But just know you're going to get yours here in the next couple of plays. And and it was just the way it was done. And we kind of policed our own league that way. And now, because, you can't do any of that stuff, do guys get, overly frustrated and then have to take matters in their own hands after the game when things don't, when normally things calm down. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's the right answer or not.
No, I don't know if there is an answer for it. I just wanted to know if you had any experience in that sort of thing. All right, so Mark Schlereth, Carolina, Minnesota, New Orleans, who you are seeing this week, played the Dolphins, as you're calling that game on Fox, and then San Francisco. Those are the only teams that have buys left. No buys this week on Thanksgiving week, and then those are the 4 teams in Week 14, meaning those are the only 4 teams that have 5 games left. Everybody else, it's a 6-game run to the playoffs from their current positions or playing out strings. That said, is the setup. Taking a look at the standings in each conference, just to set everything up. Start with the NFC. Rams are, in my estimation, the best team in football. I came to know your thoughts on the subject matter. And then you've got 8-3 teams in Philadelphia and Chicago as your division leaders. Seattle as the top wild card team. The Bucs hanging on as everybody's dropping there. Maybe they get Bucky Irving back. They currently lead the NFC. You got the Seahawks at 8-3, Packers 7-3-4, Niners 8-4 with the Lions at 7-4, Cowboys at 5-5-1. My setup for you, sir. What are you looking to see over the last 6 weeks in the NFC? What are you most curious about in the NFC? What you need to see or you're eager to look forward to over the last 6 weeks? Mark.
Yeah, well, the NFC West is just unreal, right? With San Francisco winning last night, didn't look good. Brock Purdy throwing 3 interceptions, but the NFC West with the Rams, and I agree with you, they're the best. They look like the best team in football without question. I think the Seahawks are a really good football team, very balanced. Think about the decisions that they have made as just an organization. And John Schneider's done just such an unbelievable job. One, he said, hey, man, it's time for Pete Carroll. We're going to part ways with Pete Carroll. Brings in McDonald. McDonald's done a phenomenal job. Gets rid of DK Metcalf, makes the decision on Sam Darnold, says, hey, man, Sam Darnold, the one thing about this dude is he's just a dude. Like, we love him. He's a dude. And guys respect his journey. Guys respect the work that he's put in to get where he's at. All these decisions that you made to say, hey, DK Metcalf, you've been our number one guy, but we think Smith-Njigba is going to take off. And he has just been as exceptional as anybody in football. So they're a really good team. I would probably put them as the second best team in the NFC right now. And then you got a bunch of other, teams fighting for their spot. But the Rams clearly the best right now, and I think Seattle's really intriguing to me as well.
Yeah, and I would go with the NFC North. I can't wait to see how this plays out. Right, you got the Bears at 8-3. and then a half game behind the Packers and 1 game behind the Lions, who play the Bears in Chicago to finish the season. The Packers have yet to play the Bears twice at all. They play them twice, and the Lions take on the Packers on Thanksgiving. How this thing plays out is fascinating to me, because what you just said in the NFC West, you can't get 3 teams in from both divisions. Somebody's going to be left without a chair, and the Cowboys have come on strong. We'll see how that plays out with the Chiefs on Thanksgiving Day. I'm curious to see how the North finishes up. That's my big question mark over the last 6 weeks here.
Yeah, I was looking at Chicago today, and I just kept thinking to myself, man, there's no way Chicago can they continue on this run? And you look at their last 6 weeks, man, they have got a brutal schedule with a couple games you mentioned against the Packers, Detroit to finish up. They've got Philadelphia. Like, every team they have coming up, you see it. Cleveland is probably the only one there, but San Francisco playing pretty good football right now, albeit the 3 interceptions that Brock Purdy threw last night. Like, that's a brutal schedule coming down the stretch for the Chicago Bears.
But you also point out it's a linchpin of not just, again, the NFC North, but also the NFC playoff picture. Certainly, you know, they're taking on Philadelphia this weekend, battle of the Eastern and Northern division leaders of Thanksgiving week, the 2 and 3 seeds in the NFC. And if they don't win the division, Chicago, based on other results, that San Francisco game could be about who has the seat and who doesn't in the wild card, right? Like that game itself. So that's a huge, I mean, Chicago might be the through line here, if you think about it.
Yeah, it really is. It's really fascinating how tightly packed all these teams are at the top of their divisions. And it'll be fascinating to watch it as you know, the NFL does such a great job of scheduling things and making sure that all these games, all these divisional games, for the most part, are late and they're meaningful. And certainly we have that in the NFC North.
All right, let's talk about the AFC playoff picture entering Thanksgiving weekend. You've got the Patriots as the only 10-win team. How about that?
Yeah.
That's in the entire NFL. The Patriots are the only 10-win team. You've got the Broncos 1/2 game behind them coming off of their bye. The Colts just lost to the Chiefs, who are at 6-5, the 10 seed. I mean, the Chiefs being the 10 seed, the Ravens have in fact run down the Steelers. We were all thinking at 1-5, can they do it? Well, entering Thanksgiving week, taking on the Bengals on Thanksgiving night, they have. The Chargers are coming off of their bye. The Jaguars have just won a bunch of games by the skin of their teeth. Their only loss since their bye after the London loss was a game that they led by 19 points. The Texans have come on strong. They're above 500. And the Bills face the Steelers this week. So what do you want to see out of the final 6 weeks in the AFC? Your biggest question is what?
Well, my biggest question, I suppose, like, I really like the teams that stack the top. I like, obviously, the New England Patriots, and you can say what you want. Vrabel's a hell of a coach. He believes in old school football, controlling both lines of scrimmage. You can say whatever you want about Josh McDaniels as a head coach. As an offensive coordinator, the guy is phenomenal. He's just phenomenal. And Drake May's playing at an incredibly high level. The Broncos defensively, I mean, when you start talking about the Broncos or any team, and you start harkening back to the 1985 Bears, like anybody, and there's, I'm sure you have tons of people who watch you that don't really or aren't really familiar with what the 85 Bears did. But let me just say, coming in the league in 89 and playing the Bears, they were frightening even then. And when you start talking about a team in present day football that you can compare to the 85 Bears when it comes to pressuring the opponent's quarterback, that team is legit. They are scary. The Broncos defensively, and they've been doing it without Pat Surtain, and they've been doing it without Alex Singleton. So that'll be really interesting to see them down the stretch. We talked about Baltimore. I'm telling you, like, Baltimore is interesting. Houston is really interesting to me because defensively, all 3 levels, they have superstars. And Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, like, unbelievable edge pairing. But Will Anderson, he doesn't try to just beat you. He tries to humiliate you. Like, he physically tries to like shorten your neck. I mean, it's to watch him play, the physicality with which he plays is unbelievable. And I am not so sure they are going to get they're going to get C.J. Stroud back, and I'm not so sure that the way Davis Mills has been playing, that he's not a better option right now. He's really played. He's just played really good, solid football that complements what they do on the defensive side of the ball. So they're a really interesting team to me. And if the Colts stumble a little bit down the stretch here, all of a sudden they start to stumble, their passing game falls apart like it did in the fourth quarter and overtime of that game against Kansas City. Could I see Houston reeling the Colts in and winning their, fourth straight division title? That'll be interesting.
Yeah, and the Jaguars are between them. And the Jaguars had a chance to sweep the Texans, being up by 19. That is a loss that leaves a mark and keeps the Texans alive, because that's the difference between being 8-3 like the Colts and the Texans being 5-6 and out of it, or what you currently see on the screen with the Colts have yet to play the Jaguars or the Texans. So the AFC South is definitely wide open. The question that I have over the final 6 weeks, kind of dovetailing on what you just said, is which of the teams at the top that we didn't expect, even though the Broncos had a massive bandwagon coming into the season, but 9-2, I think, is above expectation. And certainly the opportunity they have at 9-2, the fact that the Chiefs are 6-5 is kind of surprising. Patriots being 10-2, Colts being 8-3. Which one of those teams can hang on to their amazing starts over the final 6 weeks of tight football? And which of the teams that are perennial AFC playoff contenders, if not favorites, Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, Texans, which one of those will actually survive? Which one of those will actually make it from their early season holes? 1-5 Ravens, 0-3 Texans, Bills at once upon a time at 4-1, having lost more than they've won over the last couple of weeks. Which one of those might actually come from the pack?
I still, until they're dead, I still fear the Chiefs. And as much as I root for them to lose every game, what they did against the Colts was amazing. They held them to 18 yards total offense in the fourth quarter and in overtime. Defensively, they just made plays. And even when Patrick Mahomes and his receiving core and even Travis Kelce, they don't have that same magic that they always seem to have and be able to make those, remarkable plays when things break down. They still found a way to come back down, 20-9 in the fourth quarter and win that football game. And they're the team to me that if they get in, their championship pedigree and the fact that they haven't been clicking on all cylinders on the offensive side of the ball, they still understand how to win. They made plays on the special teams. They made plays on defense. That team still really scares me. If in fact they get in, they are the one team that really scares me.
And I know fans who watch shows like this one and hear folks like us, Mark, say over and over again, the Chiefs aren't out until they're finally out, blah, 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 and they might get sick and tired of that. It's the truth. This is a fact that backs it up, or a nugget that NFL Network, or an observation the research department there came up with, that I keep repeating, and I will keep repeating, that in the Mahomes era, 7 years of being the starter, this is his 8th year being the starter, the 7 previous seasons of him being a starter, the earliest a Chiefs season has ended is overtime in the AFC Championship game. 5 Super Bowl appearances, 2 overtime losses in the AFC Championship game. So not even in the division round, not even in regulation of the AFC Championship game. That's the earliest a season has ended for the Chiefs. So that's why you and I think, are saying until it's over, it ain't over. With that,
and think about how many times, Rich, we've seen them make remarkable plays. One thing about Mahomes is that dude can play on schedule, and he can play as well as any quarterback on schedule. But what separates him is his uncanny ability to play off schedule and to be on the same page, where everybody on that offense just seems to see the same thing, where they can alter a route in the midst of a game where they're lining up on the line of scrimmage. We remember the overtime game where they beat the Buffalo Bills, I think, in the divisional round with 13 seconds left. And they said, "Oh yeah, we just kind of as we're walking up the line of scrimmage, Travis and I just kind of changed the play, and we pick up a." I don't remember what exactly the game was, like 30 yards or something. Like, yeah, we just looked at each other and we knew this is what we're running. They haven't had that this year. That hasn't been part of kind of their makeup. And yet here we sit at 6-5, and you keep saying, well, if they get to that again, if eventually that comes and rears its beautiful head, if you're a Chiefs fan, ugly head if you're the rest of the NFL, then we're in trouble. Because they still can play on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, and in terms of that, when we're talking about the Chiefs here, and with all due respect to Denver, and we just also established the AFC South is wide open. That's why I would choose of any of the teams that have started well in the AFC to finish and not stumble. I would choose New England because of the way that the quarterback is playing. And then, I don't know, did you hear the soundbite from Vrabel after they beat the Bengals in a tight game? Did you hear that?
No.
Play this for Mark Schlereth, please.
Mike, how much of a battle was this?
It was.
Mentally from start to finish?
That's what happens in this league. You need everybody, and you go through the season, you go on the road, and it's tough, and nobody wants to talk about numbers and records. That doesn't mean
That's it. That's a soundbite. And you just stood there and said, next question. Yeah, records and stats don't mean S. And I heard that, and I'm like, this is also the guy who is shaking hands with everybody before they go in the locker room. So he's rallying them, but he's also keeping their feet firmly planted, and he's got an incredibly, generationally, apparently talented quarterback to lead them in an and an opportunistic defense that if they tighten things up in the red zone, man, they could be particularly tough to beat for sure.
I love Vrabel, man. That dude, like, you sit down with Vrabel one-on-one, he can be a salty bitch, and he can be great at the same time. Like, he's very much that way, and he's a no-nonsense guy. Like, he demands, he demands great study habits. He demands great practice habits. He demands all those things. At the same time, as being a hard ass, he's incredibly relational with his players. And you see it. You mentioned him handshaking guys. Like, you go down and watch practice, and I've been to several Patriots games, done several games this year, and watching him at practice, man, he puts on the off-colored penny, and he's out there playing middle linebacker. He's out there playing, edge linebacker. And, I mean, he's mixing it up on Friday practice with the guys. It just is like his vibe resonates with players. They want to play for him. And he believes in old school football in that we're going to control the lines of scrimmage, and we're going to do that on both sides of the ball. And damn it, we're going to play, disciplined football, and we're going to come out on top playing this way. And I just, there's times when you sit down and talk with him, you're like, come on, dude. And then, we played against each other, like, ease up a little bit. And then there are times when we're just laugh and we, reminisce. And so he's just a really interesting cat. And I think he's just one of the best coaches in the National Football League.
+1, man. What does the Thanksgiving scene for the Schlereths look like? Paint it for me.
Oh,
Mark,
we're right here. We are right here. The kids are coming in on Wednesday.
Grandkids,
and,
grandkids.
Grandkids are going to be in Michigan this. So Lisa and I, my wife and I, just went out to Disney World. I had the weekend off last weekend, so we went out to Disney World and ran the streets with the grandkids. And so anyhow, that was our Thanksgiving with them.
Do you go on the rides? Does Grandpa Mark go on the rides with them?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What are we like? What, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride? What sort of speed are we? Are we roller coaster?
I love the roller coasters, but my left knee, there's some that I can ride. There's some that I just can't get my leg into because it won't bend enough. So, but yeah, I was knee deep in roller coasters and the Tower of Terror and the all those fun ones, Aerosmith's rock and roller coaster, you name it.
Okay. And let me make sure here, you'll be back in the state of Florida calling Saints at Dolphins.
Yes, I will.
On Fox this weekend. Have a great Thanksgiving. I am thankful
you too,
for
buddy.
your friendship and love talking ball with you, man. Love chopping it up.
Likewise, buddy. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as well. And we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Yeah, I'll be working, but it's all good. That's what we do this time of year. Thanks to Mark Schlereth, everybody back here on the Rich Eisen Show. Another terrific appearance, calling Mike Vrabel something I would never call to his face. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.